Welcome to your Weekend Healthy Chat. I'm Jack Boyle, producer of the program, and this week we are turning the tables on our host, Dr. Sara, with a look at her professional life as a pediatrician, her special connection to the Port Jervis community, and the meaning of her work as a physician and parent. Good morning, Dr. Sara, and thanks for letting us put you in the spotlight in this very special Weekend Healthy Chat.
Well, good morning, and thanks so much for asking me to do this show, although I do have to say it's always a little weird when the tables are turned on yourself, but thank you anyway.
Absolutely. Sara, when I first approached Bud Williamson, the owner of NeverSync Media, with a concept for the show, I knew I wanted to choose a host who was going to carry the show for a long time, and how lucky we were that you said yes.
No, thank you so much for approaching me. It's been such a ride, and it's been well over a year. And so we keep coming back each week after week, to deliver different topics and segments to the community. And I really feel like it's an asset to the tri-state area.
Absolutely. Recently, Weekend Healthy Chat was selected for an award by the New York State Broadcasters Association as Best Public Affairs Program in our regional market. How does it feel to be hosting an award-winning show?
No, it's great, and it's so surreal. Like, I was even surprised that we were nominated, let alone won. So it's such an honor to receive that award the other night.
When you were a little girl, did you picture yourself as a doctor?
Actually, yes, and my parents will tell you, I was probably around 8 or 9, and they were talking to me about what I wanted to do, and I had told them that I wanted to be a doctor, specifically a pediatrician, after my pediatrician, who is Dr. Julia. She's from the area, but I told them around that age, and I never had another thought. There wasn't anything else I wanted to do, not throughout high school, not throughout college. I never changed my opinion, so that's what I always wanted to be.
Did you have a little black bag? Did you ask for a little black bag for Christmas or anything?
Yes, I'm sure I had one of those, probably even before I was 8 or 9. I'm sure my parents let me play with stethoscopes and all of that, but yeah.
Sara, you have excelled in so many ways in your still young life. As a senior in high school, and I know this sounds like this is your life. As a senior in high school, you were elected president of the National Honor Society.
Yeah.
You received the 1999 scholarship from the Business and Professional Women's Club.
Mm-hmm.
Later, the Albright College Presidential Scholarship for Academics and Science, earned while a student at Port Jervis High School.
Yes.
At Albright, you were inducted into Alpha Epsilon Delta Honor Society for merit in academics, as well as the Nancy Radachak. Did I say that correctly?
That you did, yep.
Wow, I was good.
Yeah, very impressed by that.
Radachak Schumann Medical Scholarship, and graduated with honors. Were you always an achiever from childhood, and who were your role models?
I guess you could say I always was from childhood. I had excellent role models. Actually, it's my parents. So my dad is still the hardest working man I know. And my mother, who is a school teacher at one of the local elementary schools here, was always a big supporter of education and really put that value into me. And it was amazing growing up within our family and how much support and love my parents gave me. So it really did help me to achieve all those things, whether it was in high school or college or even today. As you know, my parents were with me at the awards dinner. I mean, they've always been my biggest fans, my biggest supporters. So I have to say that the two of those were probably the most influential throughout growing up, as well as my own pediatrician, which I alluded to earlier, Dr. Julia, who really was the driving force behind doing what I do all day, every day.
Speaking of Dr. Julia, what were some of the qualities that attracted you and inspired you?
Well, she was just great with little kids. I mean, she was a pediatrician here in the community. She loved the community and lived for it. I mean, you could call her at 9 o'clock at night with an ailment, and she was right there giving you advice. And, she really had her heart dedicated to her practice, her patients. And that's what I valued, and that's what I wanted to do, especially when returning home after med school and residency. I wanted to be just like her growing up. I mean, she was such, a hard worker, very loyal, and truly a great individual to know.
Well, you certainly built a wonderful reputation yourself, and wherever I mention your name, it doesn't seem to matter what community in Pike County, everyone seems to know you
Yeah.
and love you.
Yeah.
You met your future husband at Albright.
Yes, I did many years ago.
Was it love at first sight?
Well, we were actually best friends for a little while before we started dating, but we met first day of freshman year at undergrad. He was the nerdy redhead in the front row, and since then we were friends for a while and then started dating. But now he's quite the influence and also another big supporter who was there the other night. He really believes in me, and he's been a great, not only friend, but also husband.
What was his specific influence on your continuing development as a professional?
Just his unyielding support. I mean, anytime I need help with anything, he's the first person to lend a hand. I mean, he's such a kind-hearted individual. There's not enough I could say about him.
Do you have similar approaches to medicine in terms of your philosophy of care?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We both have very similar approaches with how we deal with patients and our commitment to the community.
What would you say if there were key words that reflect on your philosophy of care with patients? What would some of those key words be?
Just approaching the patient as a whole and not just seeing the specific illness or the disease, but really incorporating not only the patient, but also the family into the medical care. So that's what I would say is probably one of the biggest factors in how I view taking care of patients.
You really always wanted to be a pediatrician. Why this specialty as opposed to neurosurgery or whatever?
No, well, it's true. I've always loved kids, so I loved being around kids even growing up. I actually have 3 younger brothers, so growing up with a pretty decent-sized family, I always loved taking care of them, babysitting, even throughout high school, college, being involved in any activities that involve children. I really love that. So that's kind of why I chose pediatrics, but also because of my own pediatrician. So I knew I wanted to make the difference in lives of even the smallest.
And of course, you have your own 4-year-old, I think.
Yes, I do. His name is Colin. He drives us nuts on a very regular basis, but I guess we'll keep him.
Very good. Following coursework in St. Martin, you did rotations at Wyckoff Medical Center, SUNY Downstate, and Schneider Children's Hospital, doing research in influenza and pneumococcal immunizations. Your commitment to excellence was once more recognized when you graduated medical school as salutatorian and received the 2007 AUC Community Service Through Leadership Award and residency placement at Goryeb Children's Hospital in Morristown, New Jersey. More research initiatives followed, as well as committee work in your pediatric residency, including research with the Alliance of Independent Academic Medical Centers regarding medication reconciliation. What is medication reconciliation?
So medication reconciliation is really basically what it says, how you reconcile medications. So you come into the hospital or into an outpatient health center, and it's discussing whether it's with a nurse or a physician going through the medications that you're already taking. So it's really just to put that policy into place where, okay, this is what I'm already on, this is what I'm allergic to. That way, the next person who's seeing that individual knows what to write for, what to prescribe.
You actually created a medication tool in that work, still used in the Atlantic health system.
Yes.
And what was that tool?
So it was actually a medication reconciliation form that the families completed or the patient themselves completed on intake, whether it was into the hospital or the outpatient setting. And then once we went electronic, it became an electronic medication reconciliation tool, and it's still being used.
And of course, you again received additional awards based on that achievement. How important, Sara, is the recognition factor for these and other achievements in your life? How important is that to get the kudos?
Oh, no, it's always nice to be recognized. Absolutely. It's always such a surprise, though, when you do win anything or recognized in that way. But it really provides another level of satisfaction, knowing that your work is definitely making a difference.
Oh, that's great. Well, Sara, at this point, we're going to take a quick break and be right back.
Hey, that's my line.
We're back with Dr. Sara Little, and we're turning the tables on her. And are you having a good time,
Yes,
Dr. Sara?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's been quite the ride.
It's quite the ride, and this is very much like this is your life today. I understand, but you know what?
Yeah, of course.
Well worth it. Sarah,
Thank
you
you.
gained valuable administrative experience after your 3 years of pediatric residency when you were selected pediatric chief resident for Goryeb Children's Hospital, and the same year became board certified.
Yes.
Now, we hear that term all the time. What does that mean? How important is it?
Yeah. Board certification, it's actually, you have to do so many credits and take a very long, I think it's 8 hours of a draining test. And at the end of it, the test gets graded, and depending on how many your percentage correct, then you are board certified. So it's a lot of work that you have to put into becoming board certified, because those questions are ridiculously tough and made that way, for that reason. But it is, I'm very happy to be board certified. I think most individuals really strive to be board certified, especially in this day and age. And then once you become board certified, it's a recertification process every 7 to 10 years, which, honestly is great because it keeps the mind active, and, you're constantly learning about different techniques in medicine, different things that used to treat something now don't. So, it really keeps your mind going instead of just following one way, the only way, and not really learning. I mean, that's what medicine's really all about. It's a lifelong learning adventure.
Well, I know when any member of my family needs medical services, whatever the particular specialty, we always look for board certified.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the value to the patient of having a board certified physician as opposed to one who is not board certified?
It's the amount of education. It's the amount of education and time that go into it, and really studying, and working very hard to achieve that. So it's really the amount of value you put into education, being a young physician trying to achieve that board recognition.
Can that improve the quality of care that the patient gets?
Absolutely. Because it means you're constantly on top of your game.
Very
Yeah,
good.
you're always learning new things. So, no, definitely.
2011 was an important year as you received the New Jersey State Medical Education Physician Champion of the Year.
Quite a mouthful,
Wow.
yes.
What meaning does this award have for you?
It was actually great, and it was based off of, it was during my chief resident year. I was actually finishing up with that, and it was such a surprise to even be nominated, let alone to be selected. But it was really for the amount of work that not only I put into my residency program with the different initiatives that we had started, but also the initiatives on the national level with the medication reconciliation. And it was an amazing night, and I felt so grateful to the entire Goryeb Children's family who, doing residency there, they really gave me my voice. You're one individual in a residency program, but each individual has a voice. And it's what you do with that voice. And you make yourself known, and you see things that, can be changed in a hospital system as large as Atlantic Health. And you work hard to make those changes happen. And I'm very grateful to them.
One of the things that patients hear about a lot of time is holistic. And there's another one, complementary medicine. Does this enter into your work at all?
Yeah, holistic, especially with looking at the patient as a whole and not just treating the disease, as I had talked a little bit about before, really listening to the entire, the amount of concerns that a person has or a family has regarding a patient. And you really want to see the person as a person and not just as a strep throat or a behavioral problem or, the list goes on and on. But yeah.
How about with complementary medicine? Basically people using alternate therapies and things of that nature. It probably doesn't come into pediatrics so much.
Not usually so much. I do have some families who actually educate me, which is great. They tell me about different oils or different homemade remedies that they're using. And I love it because I then do research into it, like really look into see what that is, see how effective it can be. So I love to hear those conversations when families say, Dr. Little, we've tried this. What do you think? And then, I'm honest. I say, I don't know a lot about it, but let's look into it together. And we do.
That's great. Happily for the Port Jervis community and Orange County, you returned to your hometown.
Yeah.
You grew up in Port Jervis,
yes, I
right?
did. Yeah, and I graduated Port Jervis High School in 1999, many years ago.
They must be very proud of you.
Oh, I hope so.
And you get back, do you ever go back to the school and
Oh, absolutely. I just
make
did
appearances?
I did a career day not that long ago at ASK Elementary School, and doing some work with the BPW. We have an event coming up in a couple of days.
How about career days? Do you do career days? where you can talk to the kids about, medicine as a potential. Could a chance to go back to your school, Sarah?
Actually, recently, yes. I was asked to do a career day at ASK Elementary School, and it was really nice to talk to some of the students, and they were from 4th to 6th grade, I believe, and to talk to them about what it was like to become a physician, the years of schooling and training that you have to do. So, I mean, it was a very nice activity to be a part of, to be able to give back to the community again.
And I know they appreciate it because I hear it all the time.
Oh, good.
Sara Little came back, and she's serving this community.
But that was always the goal. The goal was always, I wanted to complete medical school residency. And then the goal from day one was always to come back to give to the community that gave so much to me growing up.
Now, in Port Jervis, you first served, I think, at Bon Secours.
Yeah.
And then, of course, later to our delight, Middletown Community Health Center.
Yeah, and that's where I currently am.
At 140 Hammond Street in Port Jervis. And you've been there how long now?
I think it's close to 2.5 years, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it seem longer?
Some days it does, yes.
only because you've had such an impact.
Oh,
good.
God.
You really have built a tremendous reputation. What are some of the qualities at MCHC, Middletown Community Health Center, that drew you there and give you satisfaction now as a professional?
I like the fact that it's a non-for-profit organization, and it really does serve, it's the whole community. Whether you have insurance, no insurance, limited insurance, this facility really works with the individual to try to provide the best type of health care for the community. And that's really what I'm all about. It's providing the best type of care to my patients. And to be able to do it with Middletown Community Health Center, it's fantastic because they are a non-for-profit. So if somebody has recently lost insurance, say there was an issue with the company they were working for, they lost their job, they lost insurance, we still see those patients, even if they haven't had, insurance. And we even, not only do we see them, we also try to help set up insurance companies for them to really get them back on their feet. Because as you know, healthcare is so, so important. And you need to have insurance in this day and age.
Absolutely. And of course, with the Affordable Care Act, have you seen any changes there in terms of your practice or the service to
I
your
think
patients?
just because it's so new, so not yet, but it's definitely starting.
Okay. Is it going to be more challenging or easier?
Hopefully not on my end. Hopefully it'll be easier on my end. I'm very lucky to work with the billing team and not having to do that myself. But the amount of patients that we see every day, it's very rewarding to be in that center.
Which brings us back to this show and my personal delight, to be able to collaborate with you on Weekend Healthy Chat.
Oh, good.
It really has been a pleasure. How many shows? I think for a while you were keeping count.
I know for a while
shows.
I was, but now I'm not really sure. I want to say we're probably, I know it's been on for over a year, but I know we haven't done 52 shows, but I would say probably in the 40s somewhere, maybe a little bit more.
As you look back, were there any topics that were of particular interest to you or that got you excited in terms of doing the show with the guests?
Oh, of course. Anytime I was ever on with my partner, Dr. Martakis, we had such a great time. It was so much a conversation and just very laid back. Other healthcare professionals in the community come to mind as well. Any guest, it's always great to learn about what they're doing, how they're giving back to the community. It truly is a community show. So,
absolutely.
And I really, really love being able to participate in it.
Now, Sarah, you're still very young. As you look to the future, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? Do you have any ultimate goals, as things that you want to really achieve as a person, as a professional?
Well, I feel like I'm very lucky. I'm actually doing the goal that I had set out even from when I was really young. And that was to give back to my community, to come back here as a pediatrician, to be able to take care of kids and families as a whole. And I feel like I'm able to continue to do that. I'm starting to join more functions in and around the community. So for the BPW, in order to, as another means of giving back to the community. So there's different things I'm looking into, that are upcoming, and I'm very happy to be doing the radio show and hopefully continuing on with that for years to come.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Sara. You are a superb host, and you're also a wonderful guest.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview you for a change, to put you on the spot. But you've handled it extremely well.
Well, thank you. It's been quite the journey here.
And, of course, Sara and I both want to thank our listening audience for being there each week. And we Want you to have a healthy and productive week, as Sarah says, as you're looking ahead. And from Middletown Community Health Center and your host for Weekend Healthy Chat, Dr. Sara Little, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Take care. Welcome back. We actually almost forgot our email question of the week. And we don't want to leave this mom out. And she writes, Dr. Sara, my third grader had difficulty with reading this year, but over the past 2 months has really made progress. However, summer break is rapidly approaching, and I don't want her to lose the skills gained or fall behind again. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Great question. Summer break will be here in a few days. Before break hits, either call or email her teacher and ask for a summer reading list to include not only third grade material, but also the fourth grade reading levels. Now, if for some reason the teacher is unable to supply one, you can either look online or actually bring her to the library for suggestions because that's such a great resource. Now, once you obtain the reading list, set up a reading schedule for her, with her having independent reading time, followed by rereading either the book or the story with you later that same night. And make it fun. Bring in a reward system. For example, after reading, say, 4 or 5 books on that list, maybe she can earn a small prize. Really get her engaged and keep her mind active all summer long. She won't fall behind, and if anything, will enter the 4th grade with more reading confidence. I hope this helps answer your questions. And for those of you with further email questions, please feel free to email me at drsara@middletowncHC.org. Again, that's DRSARA@middletowncHC.org. As Jack had said, I hope you have an active and healthy week ahead, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.